Greetings, ghouls, goblins, and kiddywinks and Iron Maiden fandom. How are you? I'm Joe from the Nightmare Cabin, and I'm joined as ever by my hetero life mate, my brother from another mother, the bearded, hairy, warm and cuddly Crusher Joel. Sorry, Mr. Luke.
Fucking hell, it's an insult to Crusher, that one.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am greasing the wheels with the newly arrived Fear of the Dark. So, how are you, Luke?
I'm alright. I'm on the water, so off you go.
I'm just
to balance it out.
And the weekend starts now. Right, Bosh, I'm ready. So this week, ladies and gentlemen,
fucking hell,
we had the seventh son of the seventh son, the epic, the pinnacle of the golden age of Iron Maiden. And now this week, whilst Harry Harris is busy in his studio, he had a little cabin like this built in his house, and built a little studio in there, and he was busy editing away. Do what, mate? Yes, he was busy. He was editing Made in England. So Adrian Smith got a bit bored and decided to record this little album. Oh my God. I will get used to this camera eventually. Yeah, and as you can see.
This one, yeah. It's like having a Skype conversation with your granddad. It's like, fuck it.
All the things I do, and I go, and this, ladies and gentlemen, and then Bosh, and I just get this corner. Or I have a glare. That's the worst one, when it's the glare and you have to sort of. Yeah, there you go. ASAP, Adrian Smith and Project Silver and Gold. And Bruce decided to do a little side project as well after this, but we're going to do this one first. And it all started with a project.
Entire population of acne.
Yes. And funny enough, I saw the other day a gig they did. I want to say the Ruskin Arms. Eh?
No, it was a marquee. They only did two.
Is it a marquee? Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't the Ruskin Arms. For some reason, that was the mental. Google in my head came up with Ruskin Arms, but no, it's marquee.
Yeah, so.
But so I did a bit of reading from the Bible, and a few other bits and bobs as well. This is a really good book. Gives you a timeline in photos day by day, and this one is also pretty good actually. Album by album by Martin Popoff, and it gives a whole host of familiar names, put their input on each album. So it's kind of like it's like a podcast on paper, you know what I mean? And loads of familiar names that you're all familiar with put their 2 pence worth in on what the album's like. And so Adrian basically would always write songs and contribute ones to the Iron Maiden. I don't know what the song process is, but Steve obviously has the final say, and he has a little pile of that's not going to work, but I'll keep it for spare. And the songs that are good but not quite suitable for Iron Maiden piled up enough for them to make an album. And originally formed with Nico and a whole host of other musicians who we'll get into. And I think during a bit of downtime, a bit of money was thrown around because Bruce went on to do Tattooed Millionaire. But this was the first project. And record label threw a load of money and went, fancy making an album. And that's what we got. Nico had to step aside, and Zach Starkey, son of Ringo Starr. And sorry, what was that?
He was getting married at the time.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, Adrian wanted to do it, obviously, like you say, from the entire population of acne, but he was getting married. So, I think his missus at the time, I think it was Rebecca, her name, she probably said to him, look, you can make a choice, but make the right one. So.
And did he make the right one? Let's find out. Well, obviously he made the right one because they're still married, but that you know what I mean, ladies and gents. So, I don't know. Should we go through the lineup? only other person I'm familiar with is Zach Starkey. Who,
Yeah, I mean, the other three guys, well, three of the four guys, they're from Urchin, which was Adrian's band that he formed.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you've got three guitarists. So you obviously the other two guitarists and the bass player, I think, were all ex-members of Urchin. Who obviously, when he left to join Maiden in '81, Urchin were kind of like, oh, that's the fucking balls ripped out of us. Let's go and get a real job. And so I think when Adrian probably felt a bit guilty, so when he was doing this, he probably thought, right, boys, let's look back up and make some music. And they're all
that happens quite often actually.
By listening to it. So I don't know who the keyboard player is though. It's either the keyboard player or the bass player wasn't in the band, and when you go on Wikipedia, his name ain't even got a link on it, so he's just a fucking talk about hired gun.
I've not heard much of Urchin, I've got to admit.
I song 12 Wasted Years.
Oh, did I?
I'll see snippet of Adrian playing in the club sort of thing in like 1981 before he joined Maiden, and I think, you know, like I say, I don't know enough about him to really have a comment really.
Do you know who is a good band though? The new NWOBHM. I always have to think is it Sweet Savage? I've got.
Yes. Well, no, Vivian Campbell.
Vivian Campbell's band, yeah. And the singer from them sounds a lot like James Hetfield, but before James Hetfield, if that makes sense.
So you think James listened to that and thought, because they did trawl the fucking tape.
Just like Pantera nicked their sound from Exalder. Metallica are everything. It's a Sweet Savage. This is a good album, actually. This is a band Savage.
So watch yourself.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that. That was me being hyperbole.
Before we get sued.
Yeah. They owe all their success to a band that recorded 2 demos and a single, and Dave Mustaine ranked the whole first album, and Fade to Black had nothing to do with Dave, but you know the success is all down to him. Was it?
Anyway,
the No Life Till Never demo is all that matters. Anything after that is a sellout.
That's it, yeah. I'm keeping quiet just in case the lawyers are going to get hold of this. You know, I'm just here.
If they want to waste their money on suing me, then fair enough.
That's it.
So, I suppose that's it, really. Turn your mic up a bit, Luke. I don't.
Right. Remember, I'm on my phone, so it's a bit fucking.
That's much better. That's much better anyway. Yeah, cool. Normally, when you cut in, I don't know. I can't hear. It's about 2-3 words in. So yeah, little digress aside. So this is mainly formerly Urchin members. Zach Starkey again. You're obviously familiar with. He's been drumming for the Who since 1996. He did do a bit of drumming for Oasis for a little while. Did the last couple of albums with them and the last few tours. Did a band with Johnny Marr as well, the guitarist of the Smiths. But yeah, his first, I think this was his first big job, or one of the first jobs he did, was this album. And I quite rate it.
When it hooking up with the guitarist of Iron Maiden, you know, this recently massively successful metal band, so it's got a big, you know, bit of status, you know, a bit of balls about it, isn't it? You know, a bit of status. So
yeah, I mean, and he's, you know, I know, you know, he's obviously got a famous dad, but at the end of the day, you don't. What's 96? What's that?
89 after the Beatles. You know, you're talking fucking nearly 20 years.
I'll just say. The fact that he's Ringo Starr's son probably would have got him the first gig, and it was right. But yeah, to keep him, and then for Oasis to hire, you know, he's obviously no slouch. And I've seen him twice with the Who, and yeah, he's on point, mate. So yeah, very good. He's done other bands as well where he does like vocals and guitar and stuff like that, and. I think he was just in some project as well with some. I think he got an old defunct reggae label where he got the whole discography relaunched and everything. So he's he's a busy guy. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies, and yeah. So, so it was released on the off time really of Maiden after Seventh Son. I thought he'd left Maiden, and this was after
planted the seed, I think, because obviously we'll discuss it more when we do No Prayer, but I think this very much put the seed back in his in the brain where he wanted to sort of, because obviously this isn't Maiden, and I think this scratched an itch for him. Because funny enough, the entire population of Acne Gigs gave rise to those 3 B-sides from the Summer in Time singles. That Girl, and they were covering That Girl, Reach Out, and Juanita was a cover anyway, but they played them on that gig. Yeah. So the seed was planted back then, I think. He was always a bit more commercial leaning than old Harris and the rest of them, I think. Yeah,
they were doing a lot of rarities as well. They did like Lost for Words.
Yeah, stuff like they played that. This Maiden come out for the encore, didn't they?
That'd have been good. I'd love to have been at one of those not tribute gigs, when they do a really short, small thing but under a different name.
Yeah, like fucking Ron Maiden and the Dixie Chickens and all that shit. And there's some classic ones. I tell you, I think it's in the Best of the Beast vinyl where there's a fucking list of them. And some of the names they went under was crazy.
I'll tell you what gig I'd love to have been. It was with Blaze Bayley, and I think it was in Colchester, not Colchester Arts Centre, or it might have been in Chelmsford. It was actually a venue I played with one of my bands, and I remember thinking, "Fucking hell, Maiden played there," and that actually, I'm not sure, but to this day, apparently that is the biggest set they ever played.
Right. Well, club gigs just go on, don't they?
Yeah. But the set list is like,
yeah,
and that was with Blaze. And I'd love to look it up, but yeah, it was. I think it was in Chelmsford. But anyway, so he didn't quite leave after this, and he does even have one writing credit on No Prayer That Died. So I think he was there at the beginning of it, and then jumped afterwards. But we'll get into more detail when we come to it in an episode or two's time. I think we've got Tattooed Millionaire after this.
Yeah, and episode 13 that'll be. So
yeah.
Stick around.
So, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
So the opening track, The Lion, it makes it pretty apparent that this is something a bit different.
Oh yeah, straight away. This is not Maiden. Boom. Let's fucking make it clear from the start. But it's pretty good because that's what a side project's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You get side projects like, I ain't been funny, like Seven Dust. I love the band. I love all the guys. But each of their side projects sounds like Seven Dust.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fucking point? At least this is something vastly different. And Dickinson's was vastly different, and we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to that, yeah.
We'll get there. But no, this is definitely like off the bat. No, this is Adrian doing something he obviously wants to do. And he, to be fair to him, he does it well. I mean, this has got a sort of the quintessential American sound to it, And it's the sort of album that Di'Anno wanted to make when he made that pile of fucking horse shit.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is the album you wanted to get with Di'Anno.
But obviously this is backed by the fact that obviously Adrian he's got a great fucking singing voice, as we knew from Maiden anyway when he does backing vocals. But he's got a very Bryan Adams, Springsteen type voice. And it lends itself well to this style of thing. That's why Di'Anno failed, because Di'Anno's voice for me just doesn't suit that style of music. But and it helps. He's got good players. It ain't just a fucking load of boys picked out the pub. It's professional.
Yeah.
Songwriters. And
I've been listening to it in the car in the week, and funny enough, Melissa said, "Do you know what, Melissa? She's not as into music as I am. She generally likes what she knows. She's not really bothered about, like, if Lamb of God are playing or whoever, I'm going, she'll want to come. She's like, not without me, not. And but if we go, do you want to listen to Lamb of God's new album? She's like,
yeah.
And yeah, she'll kind of listen to an artist's new album if she's going to see him, because she's like, well, they're going to play stuff off it, so I'm going to have to. But yeah, when it comes to crunch, funnily enough, with Gully and Joe, she wanted to join. And I was like, fuck off, you're not coming on. And Gully was like, no, go on, let her on. But she's got to pick an album, but it's got to be a good album. And I went, all right, fair enough. And I went, what album do you want to play? What album do you want to review? And she was like, she's like in bed, like going. And in the morning, I thought she's going to forget. She went, right, I've narrowed it down to 5. So, okay. You've really thought about it. River Runs Red by Life of Agony.
Yeah.
Nola, down. Or down 3. Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue. No, it might have been 3. She might have narrowed it down to 5 or 3. They were the 3 that I might have fucked the other 2 off. But even Gully was like, fucking hell. Like, yeah, so she knows us. And anyway, so yeah, she's not as into things as I am. But when she comes out with something, she comes out with like lightning. And she went, this sounds like the Almighty, but it sounds like it was recorded in the 80s. And she's like, you know what, like a metal band does that dodgy 80s metal album with synthesized drums and and that's, it sort of hit me, because I've always associated Adrian Smith with like not like a soaring vocal like Bruce has, but he can hit some notes. He definitely harmonizes with Bruce Nice, and he does have a good. He's a capable backing singer for Bruce. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this, he's actually quite rough. But I do think he sounds a lot like Ricky Warwick.
Like a Brian, that's what I said. Like a Brian Adams, really sort of husky, sort of working man's voice, whatever. If you know, for a weird fucking expression, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
he can hit some notes, but he's still got that earthy.
Yeah, he's got a very good voice.
Yeah, and even like in this first track here, The Lion, like he's like, I want a cold sweat, like, and it is like, and straight away I thought Ricky Warwick, definitely, and it does. And
Ricky Warwick, when he's not trying to sound like fucking Phil Lynott, like he's doing at the moment in Black Star Riders, got to stop it, Rick. Ain't no good, son.
Yeah, I know. He's just got a solo album coming out, which I like the look of. I like. I think with Ricky as well. We're digressing, but
but we do.
I think Ricky is one of those people that I think he just gets up and writes a song. I think he writes a song a day. He's one of those people, and just like going to work every day, sometimes you strike gold, and like just like getting up and practicing, whatever it is. I think he gets up and writes a song, and they reckon. I think he goes, when it came to Black Star Riders, especially. I think he just goes through his book and goes, "Do you like that one? Do you like that one?" And
but I can understand him wanting to obviously.
But I think what I'm saying is, I think he just tweaks it according to whatever project he's in.
Yeah, but like I say, I can understand him wanting to mimic Lynott when they were doing Thin Lizzy. Yeah. Because obviously you've got to do it, and he's one of the few guys who've got a voice to be able to do it. But I thought, right, now they're doing original stuff. Now they've disbanded the Lizzy name and gone on. I was expecting him to do more of his almighty vocal. But when he kicked in and he sounded like he's doing a bad Lynott now, and it really put me off the band.
Yeah. I think the first album you would have forgiven him, because I think that first album, they were doing a Thin Lizzy album. I think it was only at the 11th hour that they switched, which was a good move, by the way. They, no matter how good the album was, it was never going to be... The pressure they would have been putting on themselves would have just been ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pressure, isn't it? So...
But no, I kind of get what you mean. I don't disagree with you, but it doesn't annoy me as much. But they're pretty prolific as well. I think they're on like 4th or 5th album. So Christ. Yeah. But I did the crowdfunding thing a few years ago, where we did a solo album where it was one album with a full band rock album and an acoustic album. It was both.
I remember you saying, yeah.
And they're really good. And some of the stuff on that acoustic album is like fucking. It's up there with Van Morrison. Like the guy can write a song and.
Oh no, he's got
amazing
talent. I was gutted the Almighty didn't really make it big because the albums they put out were fucking immense.
Yeah, they were. And as we said on the Almighty episode, I preferred the Almighty. I think they were a bit more rough and round the edges. Wild Hearts were a bit more.
And they would have, for all the fucking praise the Wild Hearts got as being, the fucking great white oak for British fucking rock and metal, the Almighty smashed Wild Hearts into the ground. Talent-wise and songwriting-wise, but they just never clicked. It never happened for them, and I was gutted.
I interviewed Ricky. He was on a solo tour. He was supporting Stiff Little Fingers when the solo albums came out. And I said, like, sorry to ask you this for the millionth time, but the Almighty, like, what are the chances? He said, it's not a case of would I, it's a case of when.
Yeah.
And it's just matching it up. He went, but I can't remember who he said, but someone from the Almighty was there that night. Because he was the support slot. He goes, I'm going to do my slot, and then we're going to go out for a curry.
Yeah.
He went, so we're mates. We're all good. Like, it's all thing. He went, it's just getting us all in the room together and going like, well, when? Yeah. And then it's a case of, oh, right, yeah. So, but hopefully one day, I mean, the world's always a better place with an Almighty record coming out. But anyway. Back to the subject. So the Lion. What do we think? It reminds us.
It's a great, fucking quintessential American rock song.
It's a great chorus as well.
Smith, he knows how to write a tune, doesn't he? As he's proved in Maiden. And it's exactly what you want it to sound like for me. I think you have to make people who go into the band thinking there's something else. They need to make their piece right now. Otherwise, it's going to be a long 45 minutes. But if you make your piece with this opening track, as I did quite early, because I like this style of rock and metal anyway. But for me, it's not original, but it does exactly what I want it to do.
Yeah, I think it's
uplifting bit of fucking music. There's no politics, no shit. It's just fucking good old fashioned rock and roll, and more.
Yeah, it's radio, like sort of American radio rock. It's sort
of thing will be on the Karate Kid soundtrack or whatever.
But there's a couple of songs that are a bit dark, I think, and which gives it a nice little.
There's a bit of edge to it.
Sets it apart from all that as well, because it's kind of like an AOR album, but it's a few, which we'll get to when I get to it. But I think, this is what I think as well. I think the keyboard player is a massive asset. I think a lot of bands.
Actually, I made a note, but I didn't really allude to it. But it's just keyboard heavy, but not over the top, and it's not.
No, and it serves the song.
Shit, it does. It serves it, and it's part of the band rather than look at me, I'm pressing the keys. Fuck off. Yeah. There's a lot of keyboard players get.
And I like the little keyboard break in this as well, when it just pulls it with that. And then that.
But again, like you say, it serves the song. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just there to be there, sort of thing. So
just serves it well nicely. So this is going to be a little bit different, but it's. What else did you want from a side project at the end of the day?
Exactly.
So moving on to Silver and Gold. Which I didn't realise. I've just before you came online, I just watched the video for it.
Oh, right. I didn't know they did a video actually.
It's the front cover. There's
woman.
They're following her as she's walking down the street, and then there's just a load of in and out. The band are playing while she's sort of dancing around, and it looks like the album cover is literally like a flash of the video, but it looks like this photo on the back cover is from that shoot as well.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Where Adrian's looking off wistfully, but then you've got one of the other members of the band staring at Adrian like, I love you. It's the geezer on the left. He's probably staring at him like he wants to have his children, I say.
Yeah.
A dodgy photo.
And then you've got the other guy on the right looking at you, going, Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, another good slice of good radio
You
rock.
know, that's it. Yeah, great musicianship. I mean, it's definitely good players on this. It's a bit long, at nearly 5 minutes. I thought they could have edited down. You could get rid of a
Especially
minute of
since
this,
they did
and
a video for it.
yeah, like you say, yeah, video edit normally would come in about 3.5 minutes, wouldn't it? 4 minutes max, and that'd be just right for this. I mean, it ain't the Angel and the Gambler. Don't get me wrong, but it just needs
Angel
a little
and the
bit.
Gambler. The Angel and the Gambler. The Angel and the Gambler.
But no, I mean, you know, no, like I say, does what it says on the tin. It's just a fucking great bit of rock and roll, and off we go. Like 2 tracks in, I'm having fun. You know, it's good.
Yeah, it's got that classic 80s rock song where the verse is dun dun dun,
Yeah,
like good basic 4-beat with a dun dun, and the keyboards go dun dun.
Yeah. But also,
Dun,
you know,
dun.
what this isn't is this isn't a Paul Di'Arno. Let's throw everything at the wall. I don't know what I want to sound like. This is a guy knowing exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah.
It probably helps that he's still in the band. You know, it's not like Di'Arno where he's trying to fucking forge a career for himself. Whereas Adrian knows what his day job is, and he knows he's got a sound he specifically wanted to make, sort of thing. So I imagine that might have helped the situation somewhat.
I do think as well the riff, the main riff during the chorus, that
yeah,
during the super, I do think, oh fucking hell, that would have been good in a Maiden song.
Yeah, there are
a few little bits where I think, oh, that would have been good.
But Steve was like, you can imagine Steve going, not quite for me, sort of thing. But like you say, he put them in a fucking in the back catalogue and just kept them there.
Yeah.
A bit like the deal with Alter Bridge and Tremonti, where Tremonti would write this riff, and either Miles Kennedy goes, yeah, that's really good, or fuck no, that sounds like Slayer, that's not for us, you know. And he puts them all in the fucking back pocket for solo albums.
Yeah. I've got to say, I prefer Tremonti's solo stuff to Alter Bridge. Nothing against Alter Bridge. Again, something with them just don't.
Mind you, the last album, there ain't a lot of difference.
No.
Some of the songs on the album, some of the riffs that bring your fucking house down.
I don't know what it is. I remember one of my mates when I was in Berlin Adam place. He used to like, why don't you like them? I don't know. I sort of think they're shit. If you put them on in the car, I'll listen to them, all right, but I'm just not buying them. And he used to like bang his head going, how can you like Seven Dust but not this? Well, they're not bad. Just there's that thing. I think he would have been more satisfied if I just went, nah, these are shit. Because then he could have an argument with me. But when I went, no, they're all right. It's like, why don't you like them then? I don't
know. Yeah. Cannot compute that.
Yeah. So moving on to Down the Wire.
Well, yeah, another one of the singles, the Silver and Gold and this, both singles, with some B-sides that I didn't actually get a chance to listen to. But a couple of entire population of Acne songs were recorded for B-sides. So
yeah. I really like this song, actually. It's got and this has been a great album to listen to this particular time of year. I don't know what the it has got a autumny sort of wintry feel to it, and
see what you mean. But sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not really a wintry person. I can't stand the winter, and but now I've got a dog. I'm going out for walks, like long walks as well. And everyone goes back the autumn. They go, yeah, the leaves on the trees and the colour of the sky, and it's really nice. And I think, fuck off. But this year, I've been going on long walks in fields, and I've been finding all these little off-the-track things because I take the dog for walks now. And this has been like a nice little soundtrack to this particular week we're having. Because I'm going out and the sky is always sort of weird colours and taking all that in whilst listening to this. And this is particularly got a nice sort of atmosphere to it with the nice clean guitars and the way the keyboards are sort of taking the lead. Not so much like riff wise, but just the way the they just sort of add a little texture under the guitar. It's kind of got like a whistling sound under.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as heavy as the first two. Heavy in inverted commas. It's weird because when I was listening to it, it made me think of Phil Collins, something he would sort of put out. When he was in his heyday, doing that sort of a rocky, radio friendly type stuff, and it's a good song. It's a bit of just a slight departure, but not so much of a departure that you're like, what?
Yeah, but it's I don't want to say dark or moody. It's a bit melancholic, I think, is the best word for it. It's something us English we have a good relationship with. We do get quite melancholic out of English because we have. Here we go again. Do you know we're one of the only countries in the world that actually has all 4 seasons? Did you know that?
What, in one day? Yeah.
No, but we actually do go. Most countries don't. It'll be like you can go to some countries. It might piss down like a monsoon for about 20 minutes, and an hour later it's as if it never rained. But we actually, not a lot of countries actually go through all 4. And the actual countries that do, where you will get all 4 types of weather, or all 4 seasons, is like you can count on. Apparently it's really small. I'm not going to give you the exact number, but anyway.
Just trivia for you.
Yeah.
Stop listening to Radio 2, Joe.
Aye, Radio 2. But yeah, the sorts of melancholic feeling that you get this time of year, which I don't normally tap into. This song kind of suited listening to this week. That's what I'm getting. And it's the feeling I get.
Got a great sort of flamenco style solo as well. Obviously, Adrian proving he can do something else other than just fucking blaze a fretboard.
Yeah.
Nice bit of musicianship there. Again, slightly too long, I think, of 5 minutes. But that's the only real grumble about it is that.
But the thing is as well, like let's just say for let's just say Seventh Son, they went full prog. They didn't, but let's just, for Iron Maiden's sake, they did. And he wanted to stay like that, and that's what made him back off from Maiden. There is, as much as, let's just say this is an AOR album, again, painting with broad strokes.
Yeah.
There is some little elements still that he is fucking about with the song. He's not gone, I wouldn't say he's gone full prog, but he does kind of lean more towards sort of, say, Queensryche on this.
Yeah, there is a couple of bits later on. It was like, fucking hell, that's, very, very Queensryche. But yeah, and the keyboards especially, I think that's where he's...
I think Queensryche did that thing. They just went into the prog and then they knew just when to pull back, didn't they?
Yeah, before they went full on Dream Theater, they pulled, like you say, they just kept it the right side, didn't they? Didn't disrupt their own arm.
Just enough to keep the songs interesting and to keep you guessing, but never went full,
Yeah.
So, anyway, now we're going to completely disregard everything I just said.
Yeah, because
now we are full on DIY advert. This is
a proper Springsteen song. This, I mean, I even pointed out to Kerry. She's a massive Springsteen fan. And I said, "Does this remind you of Springsteen?" She's like, "Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, especially on the chorus."
Yeah,
proper fucking. It's a proper rock, proper, an upbeat fucking song, and this would have made a better single than either of the first two, either like Silver and Gold and Down the Wire, I think. And if this had hit the radio, this would have gone fucking huge.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I don't
the album died on its arse, didn't it?
Huh?
The album died on its arse. It was a commercial.
Nowhere, apparently.
But I think if this had come out, Adrian would have he wouldn't have had to fucking do another day's, not that he had to, but he wouldn't have had to fucking worry about nothing, because this would have been a radio smash, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would have put out Silver and Gold first. That's your upfront single, and then followed it up, boom, done a tour, and then bang, chuck this one out.
It's a weird one.
And the fact that they didn't put this out as a single kind of makes me think, why is it on the album? Because it doesn't suit. It kind of, this one's a little bit too sweet for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I quite like it. This is one that stuck with me like a dose of the clap. You know, it was there. It was always fucking whistling it or listening to the chorus, and it's really catchy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The two sort of dark and moody sort of songs to begin with, not that they're that dark and moody, but there was a slight edge to them. And then this one was just full,
full happy rock, wasn't it? Yeah.
And if it was as a single, I'd go, I get why this is on now. I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
But the fact it isn't, it's kind of like, well, anyway, yeah. It's not a terrible song, though. Not a bad song.
No, I dug it. I think so far it was my favourite one on the album.
Okay.
But I've, since I've been with Kerry, I've sort of come around a lot more to Springsteen. I've always, never was not a huge fan, but I've come to appreciate his stuff a bit more, and this is why this one sort of strikes a chord.
Yeah, I'm a bit partial to a bit of Bruce. I'm not a full thingy, but my favourite album by me is Darkness on the Edge of Town. And he went for it was a couple of tours ago. He was doing albums in full, but not announcing it. And it was like one day he did this album in full. This album just did it. Didn't say.
Yeah, but they're the sort of people who they do that in the encore. They're like, right, what do you want to hear?
Yeah, exactly.
Some random song that he hadn't played for 40 years, and they go, all right, do it. And it's like, fucking hell, you know?
Yeah. You have to be on your toes in that band, but yeah. Like one day he was like, I'm going to do Born in the USA in full, go. And I just did that. And it was, one of the days he did Dance on the Edge of Town. I was like, motherfucker, why weren't I there?
Yeah.
But that's my favourite. It's a dark album as well. I'm a dark person. Yeah. And, I've got turmoil. And
there's a serial killer and you waiting to get out, I think.
There's it was after Born to Run. And where that was such a big hit, you'd think he would have, but no, he kind of followed it up with a dark, moody album. Bit of a story behind it, which I ain't got time to go into now, but it was like Born to Run was like the hope and the thing, and we're going to escape this town, and they shoot off and have a happy ending. I mean, Darkness on the Edge of Town is about the people that stayed. I was that's a fucking... Tell you what's on that album is Adam Raised a Cain, and you'll know that song from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I know that.
Also, cool album. Anyway, so moving on. We are on now to what's we got next? We've got After the Storm. So what are our thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, this is Bryan Adams. When it kicked in, it was like, fucking hell, this is someone cutting a Bryan Adams track on this.
Yeah.
Could be straight off of what's the album he did before Reckless?
I don't know anything about Bryan Adams apart from the singles. I've never listened to.
Oh right, yeah. No, the album he did before Reckless, because Reckless was the one that broke him in the 80s. Into the Fire, I'm thinking, but please, if I'm wrong,
I can't help you, I'm afraid, mate.
It definitely sounds before he hooked up with Mutt Lange and started sounding like Def Leppard. This is when he was proper in his rock and roll days. It could have been straight off one of them albums.
Oh, right.
But then it starts off like that, and then the chorus sounds like something Cinderella would have chipped out. Full on fucking hair, But don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing it because I like that style.
No, it's the fact that you just said Cinderella, so fucking hell, yeah.
Fucking, I love cock rock, mate, but it sounds like that. It's like fucking hell. And have you got a bit of female backing vocals in there as well? You know, sorry to say female backing vocals. I know it's not the right term, but I don't know the lady's name.
What the fuck else is she? Yeah.
But
you've got a good soulful backing vocal, and it's a woman.
I mean, it's a great song.
She helps those notes out as well. So
oh, she does. Yeah, she's got a fucking set of pipes, and it ends with an outro that you could see in any sort of action movie montage, where the fucking hero's training to fucking, the son's just been kidnapped, his best mate's just died, and he's fucking motivated himself back and. Yeah, it's got that sort of feel to it. So yeah, no, this is a fucking really good song. Nice 1-2 punch here for me.
Nice little blazing solo as well.
Oh yeah, but a Smith, innit? He knows his way around a fretboard.
Yeah, and like I say, just that lady's vocals as well. She even rings it out at the end.
And, no, it's fucking awesome.
I think if you had a saxophone solo, it wouldn't hit the notes that this woman does. So fair play to her. I'll have to. Yeah, I've not got her name or anything in here, but yeah.
No, I haven't actually got the album.
I'll tell you, it actually reminds me of. Let me just quickly have a look for the book just to see if it's. But I'll tell you, it reminded me of it's those vocals on what's that fucking Pink Floyd song where there's no lyrics. It's just a woman just harmonising with the melody, but then she goes right up there and.
Oh, right, no, I don't know.
Oh, great Gig in the Sky. I think that's It's on. No, there's nothing said here. It's on Dark Side of the Moon.
Right, yeah.
And it is just it starts off with a piano riff, then just boom, boom, bam, and it's just a woman just goes. And apparently she did it in one take, and as a practice, they went, we just want you to sing along with this, just harmonise along with it, see where you go. And she just listened to it and just sang along, like with just harmonised.
Right.
And just let her voice go where it went. And they went, nice one, cheers, done. And she's like, fuck off, I didn't even do it properly. And it's like, it's done. And it ended up being this, she's like, and I'm getting paid like a fortune for it. She just went, it's kind of known as like this classic thing now, but I wish they'd let me do another take.
Yeah.
But shit, the vocals on this can't bring that to mind. It's, and so moving on. And again, I pretty much emulate everything you say, really. You pretty much summed it up. There's not really a lot I can add. And then we're back into another good sort of Bryan Adams song, really. It's Misunderstood.
Yeah.
Mistreated, sorry, not Misunderstood. Is it Misunderstood?
Yeah,
no,
it's Misunderstood. Proper classic rock vibe going on in the chorus, Really fancy, really happy. And it's another good song. I mean, it's weird because it started off, I was thinking, here we go, we're finally going to hit a bit of filler because we haven't really had any yet, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it's not Operation Mindcrime classic, but it's been a nice steady stream of songs. There's been none that I really want to skip this. But I thought we might be with this one because it started off a bit weird. But then when it pops in, it's like, oh, shit. Here we go. Another fucking winner. Another awesome solo. I think Smith, to be fair to him, he's probably the best guitarist in Maiden. Because he's not virtuoso jumping around the fucking stage like Yannick. He's not tearing up the fretboard like Dave Murray. But you can always tell a Smith solo. He's the one who, it seems like he almost puts an extra level of thought into it.
Just puts emotion into it, I think.
Yeah, it does. It's really him. Like you say, it's him. It's the guitar is an extension of him.
Yeah.
He's a fucking amazing guitarist. He's the full package. He's songwriter, player, singer. The guy can fuck off because I'm jealous of him.
Yeah, I mean, he was a massive asset to Maiden. Let's tell it how it is. And
still is.
And they did miss him.
Because as much as we love, the fuck it, or as much as me and you
Yannick and Murray are no slouches, but
as much as I love the '90s years, there's a reason when he came back they released Wicker Man because that was him who wrote it, and you can tell straight away. And he missed the songwriter more than anything.
Yeah, he's just that. He's that sprinkling of sugar, isn't he? He's the salt in the caramel. He's just got that edge. He's just got that extra thing that is perfect for Maiden, basically.
Yeah.
But Mistreated. It's
Misunderstood.
It's another song that reminds me a bit of Queensryche, actually. The way that he sort of kicks in, but then just suddenly comes to a halt.
That mellow bit, doesn't it? And that mellow bit then repeats a couple of times throughout.
And then it just sort of rings out that little clean note, and then bang, kicking in again. It's just like, whoa, it's a good thing about this album. There's lots of different textures, lots of different things going on.
Yeah, and, not enough, like, keep going back to Diano, not enough to take you away from, like, where the fuck is this going? Yeah, it's all centered around a certain style, and they're just branching out just enough to make it interesting. not to think like, hang about, what's going on?
Yeah, and it does. It's varied enough to keep things interesting, but you do keep. It is a shame that it would have been interesting to see where this led.
Yeah,
I think, because I don't think they would have been just a radio rock band. I think they would have known how to coin a good single.
Yeah,
but the albums would have been worth investigating, sort of thing.
I mean,
the gold would have been on the.
Smith had a lot more to his bow because obviously we'll get there later, but the Psycho Motel stuff is fucking totally different.
Mm. Yeah.
You know? Even the two albums they did are different from each other.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot more going on in his fucking brain than he puts into Maiden.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I can't wait to hear everything he does with Richie Kotzen because that's going to be amazing. If it ever gets allowed to fucking come out.
It will, yeah. Well, I want to know when Bruce's solo album's coming out as well.
Yeah, I mean, he promised it at the fucking at the book.
Surely now's the time to put it out. You know.
Yeah. Mind you, COVID, mate, that fucking killed everything. Maiden would have had an album out by now.
Fair enough, Maiden. But, like, would that project have toured? You know, like, he never toured with Project Rebellion, and, you know, it depends who you speak to, because some people are like, no, I've got an album that I'm sitting on, and fair enough, if you touring that album is what is your bread and butter, I could kind of see it, but
yeah,
Onslaught, again, he went, no, I can't see why we shouldn't put it out, because everyone's at home, everyone's bored, everyone wants something to do, bang, stick it out.
Yeah.
And that went up, and that charted in America and everything, so depends, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best-selling album Onslaught we've ever had. So, yeah. And I mean, a British band's charting in America, and they're one of the few bands from Britain that's able to do a tour, a full tour in America. So, yeah, I don't know. It depends, doesn't it? I suppose. It depends on your circumstances, but. I couldn't have seen any harm. All those fan club members would have been snapping up a special edition and you know. But yeah, anyway, so if you think You Could Be a King was a nice radio rock friendly song, well, check out this next song, Misunderstood.
Yeah, big time.
And this is very Bruce Springsteen. I think.
It is massively, yeah. I mean, and another one that should have been, like you say, could have been a single, and they would have coined it in, because this would still be played on the radio now if the dish had broke, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm picturing film soundtracks and everything.
Oh yeah, massively, yeah, definitely. But no, just another good rock and roll song for me.
Yeah, it's just got this nice clean ding 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 ding, you know, strumming, and as the chorus is the most cliched lyrics as well. Just that's gone stray.
Yeah, some of Smith's lyrics are a bit cliched. I mean, I noticed it earlier on, but I didn't want to kick the geezer.
Sorry, this is Kids Gone Astray, not Misunderstood. That was the last.
Yeah, no, Misunderstood was the last one. Yeah, no, Kid Gone Astray. Yeah, but no, some of his lyrics are a bit cliched, but they're not veering into Diano territory yet, so we're all right.
Poor old Paul Diano.
Oh yeah, he really struggled, didn't he? But he gets his fucking retribution later.
So moving on to
yeah.
A nice sort of dark. Oh, this is so 80s. This song, it's brilliant.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
I can just see walking down an alley with the steam coming out the drain. You know, during the intro to this song, "Fallen Heroes," and even a little in the keyboard, and that is.
Yeah, this is the first song that really didn't float my boat. And the first time where the keyboard annoyed me, you know, I tried, but for me, it's the first bit of filler, the first one I sort of skipped. I went back to it to listen to it all the way through, but it didn't really move me. But saying that, track 8, first time I've wanted to skip a song, that deserves a round of applause in itself.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said. Yeah, I mean. It's a bit of an experimental song, if anything. It's a bit like, I don't know, not so sure. You know, with that chorus, and it's just that and the vocals. Fallen heroes, thingy worship. I don't know. It sounds a bit like something like Paul McCartney or something like that would write.
Yeah.
But yeah,
really.
not completely terrible, but yeah, not exactly one I'm going to be returning to anytime soon. And then
shows what a high bar.
Yeah.
You know, album set.
Oh yeah, the worst song sounds like it was written by Paul McCartney. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's not you know, not terrible. Terrible person to be compared to, but yeah. So now, oh my god,
fucking James Brown, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, James Brown.
It's like hard rock James Brown. This one, I was digging it, mate. Loved it.
If anything, you mentioned Phil Collins earlier. This is a bit. I think Phil would have been.
Yes.
This is. Well, no. In fact, I'm going to sum it up even better. This is Miami Vice territory now. We're in.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. The keyboard led "Wishing Your Life Away," and yeah. But then again, it's
But then it's sort of we're talking about obviously Phil Collins and James Brown, but then the middle section gives way to pure Van Halen, mate.
This wouldn't have sounded too, especially like say like the first album with Hagar. And
yeah, big time. But you know, because obviously he's come out and said recently that you know, old Eddie Van Halen was one he looked up to alongside Jimi Hendrix. You know, rest in power, Edward. But no, it tells here he's really fucking writing a homage to Eddie with this, I think. And like you say, yes, not so much the Dave Lee Roth years, definitely Van Hagar as they became known. This could have sat on any one of their 4 albums, I think.
I do like as well, because as much as it has that kind of poppy keyboard lead, that dan 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 dan, but when it goes into that little quiet section, just so you have the verse, and then it goes into that little interlude before the chorus kicks in, and it all just breaks down to just a clean guitar. Yeah. And that's another thing. It's like, wow, this is a bit, it takes me back a little bit. And again, it goes that little melancholy, bit of a, to chuck that into what would, you know, otherwise be a fucking level 42 song. He has to, and that's what I think of, you know, that's Adrian Smith for you. He throws the salt into the caramel. He always has that little edge, that little, and it's just that little.
That's probably the maiden in him coming out, isn't it? Like you say, giving it that bit of fucking, just a bit to like you say, a bit of spike to the punch, sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah, but otherwise, not a bad song in any stretch of the imagination.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we're talking about obviously Van Halen and all the rest of it, Van Hagar. I think the final track has got it's their version of Right Now off of Van Halen's Fuck album. Sorry for unlawful carnal knowledge. But,
yeah, I actually really like this song. This is this is the cherry on the cake for me. I think this is a great close-up.
First time around, I weren't really digging it. I was like, oh, it's a bit thingy. But the more I listened to it, it dug its way in there like a tick from hell. And I started to love it at the end, and especially the fucking middle section before the solo, when it comes in, and you got the solo, which is fucking so deft and full on. As I said, Eddie Van Halen worship, big time.
We've not mentioned Def Leppard yet, actually. There's a few Def Leppard-isms on this album. Do you not think?
Yeah, a couple. Now I'm sort of thinking back on it. Well, obviously, Hysteria was still fucking riding high, wasn't it? So it would have been impossible not to be influenced by it, I think.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, even the producer would have been...
Yeah, only come out 2 years before. I mean, that was like the fucking ultimate rock album, wasn't it? You know, ultimate hard rock album.
Mm.
That and... Bon Jovi is still floating around, but now you say it, Def Leppard is coming in.
I mean, I'm quite partial to a bit of keyboard, actually. As we were talking earlier last week about, there shouldn't be synthesizers in metal and all the rest of it. But I listen to quite a bit of when I'm not listening to metal, which is 90% of the time. Another thing is I do like quite a bit of electronic music, like synthesizers, not like dance music or nothing like that. But I do like a bit of 80s synthesizer sort of led music. And I'm quite getting into this new synth wave thing that's going on. I do like where basically everything sounds like a John Carpenter soundtrack. They've got like a 80s neon light synthetic, like aesthetic to a lot of their album covers, a lot of these artists, and it's all keyboard led. But I do quite like it, and I think. I don't like a metal band when the keyboardist is all, like
Dragon Force.
Yeah, a bit of Dragon Force, or maybe what's that one with Nightwish? That's a little bit, a bit marzipan-y. But but this is a really nice keyboard-led song. And again, the keyboards are moody and they're dark
for atmosphere. They're not. It's not virtuoso.
Another beautiful, melancholic feel to this song. And again, the way the keyboards kind of sound like a howling wind sort of thing. It sounds. I just picture him being outside with full moon and the light coming through the trees, and it's got that kind of swirly, I don't know, feel to it. But then. Dun, 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 during the chorus. And again, his vocals, I'm not even going to try and emulate them, but he's got this soulful, it's like a real soulful vocal during it, whilst he soars up with his thing, but it's still rooted in the earth. Like, he's still got that earthy feel to it as well. Yeah. And it sounds fucking awesome. Real. What a way to finish an album.
Yeah, good way to close. Good way to close a good album, really. Yeah,
and
he's got a solid fucking debut effort here. I'm giving it 7 out of 10. I mean, it's a solid bit of American, sounding hard rock, radio rock. Nothing original. Well, it's a few bits of originality in there. I don't want to shit on him, but very much playing to a rule book. But he just ventures outside of it just enough to keep you fucking.
Just puts his own little touch on things, and it's just that. Yeah, again, it's just little touches, little textures, little things here and there. Where you go, oh, that's a bit weird, but I like it. Yeah,
and it's a mystery that why it failed, because it should have been massive. I don't know. If this had come out perhaps when Entire Population Acne was around, 1986, he might have caught the wave. I think by the end of the decade, it was starting to...
Yeah, maybe, because we've been saying all through it, this is a very 80s sounding album, and the 80s did have a particular sound. Yeah. And I remember listening to someone talking about the 80s once. He went, the problem with the 80s, when the 80s didn't actually start until about 1987 or 86... Yeah. We were actually quite far into the 80s until what we think of as the 80s came into play. Yeah. And but that was a very small window, and it was over as quickly as it began. Yeah. And the 90s was looming, I'm afraid. Yeah, big time. And the 90s didn't start with Nirvana, as much as we like to blame a lot of things on them. I mean, you only have to listen to No Prayer to Dying, which we'll get to. But yeah, that was very... Yeah, so maybe it was just that little bit too late.
Too late, yeah. And it's a shame.
Yeah, but maybe it was a successful album. Yeah, the quality of the album doesn't even come into it. That's been
it's
time and time again. It's timing, and but I agree with you. Actually, I think this is a good solid 7 out of 10. It's not fucking masterpiece, but it's a really good, strong, interesting album of a band that was it's a statement of intent, a good debut album, and just enough to sort of make go, I wonder where this would have led. And it's just
it definitely scratched an itch for Adrian, I think, and made him think about the future.
Yeah, and definitely there's some really good songs on this, and yeah, like I say, if you are a Maiden fan and you are an Adrian Smith, and not a lot of people know about this album, I certainly didn't. I read about it in a book.
I knew it was there, but I'm quite ashamed to say I'd never actually fucking heard it until I started doing it.
I only bought it a few months ago, and I sent you that photo. Look what this turned up in the post, because I completely forgot about it. I remember reading about it in the Maiden book, and then just forgot about it as soon as I read it, because you just don't. So yeah, if you've been following this series and you're liking, Adrian Smith, and you think he's definitely check this album out, folks. It's definitely worth a listen, worth investigating, and you can find it in certain places for a fair decent price. ASAP, silver and gold. Definitely a hidden gem in the Maiden canon. So, that concludes this episode. So, thanks again for watching, everyone. I'm guessing.
Come back next week. Where we'll be doing the first solo effort from the mighty Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, Bruce is.
Yeah, it's another scratched itch and another fucking that looms for the future.
Yeah. So join us next week, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. Like and share amongst your Maiden friends. And like I say, we're going on the whole journey. We want you to join us. So yeah, see you next week for Tattooed. Nearly an hour. Thanks.
Later.
See you next week.